Hello, everyone. Today, I want to take some time to guide you on how to approach a complex assignment like the one in digital transformation strategy. This kind of assignment requires not just describing what a company does, but critically analyzing how it uses digital technologies to drive its business, manage innovation, and create value for its customers as well as for the business itself. I want to emphasize that what I will show you today is sample guidance. It is not something you should copy word for word, but rather use as a roadmap to understand the structure, depth, and critical thinking expected in a professional level business management assignment. By following this guidance, you will be able to organize your research, apply relevant business frameworks, models, theories effectively, and present your ideas in a clear, logical, and persuasive manner. So let's go through this assignment, and there are a few expectations which I would like all of you to understand before you actually jump onto completing your assessment. For instance, if we go on to the first thing is the understanding the assignment requirements, right? First, what I would expect from all of you is to read the assignment brief carefully, identify the key focus areas, in this case, digital transformation, technology adoption, and strategic alignment. Make sure you understand the frameworks and concepts that are relevant, such as ITIL model, TAM model, SWOT, PASTEL, Porter Five Forces, and Rogers Value Proposition model. I understand that you would have researched through different models and frameworks while you were completing your first assignment but obviously you can narrow it down now. These frameworks help you structure your analysis and make it academically robust. Right. Second thing is the research and data gatherings. All of your students should gather credible information about the company. Look for primary sources like annual reports, press releases, and interviews with the company executives. You can have primary data, you can have a secondary data. Supplement this with secondary resources like academic journals, industry reports, and reputable business websites. Make sure your references are accurate and properly formatted. For example, you have to use Harvard referencing. Um, but this is the in your program, you might need to double check with your model leader that whether you're using your Harvard referencing or you probably need to have an IEEE reference style. Moving on to the third part, which is the structure your assignment logically. This is very, very important point, and I would like you to stress. And once you complete your assessment, please send it over to me for a review as well before you finally submit it. So, as I understand that a strong assignment follows a clear structure. For this example, is you have to start with the cover page and table of contents to organize your work, introduce the company and its business overview to provide context, then you have conduct a current state analysis to show your understanding of the company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then you have to explore the interface between business management and digital technologies, explain, and then following explanation of how technology impacts strategy, operations, and customer engagement. It doesn't stop in here. What you need to do is you need to further include industry analysis and case studies to show critical thinking and comparative insights. Then you have to discuss digital transformation strategy, highlighting technological solutions, new business models, and data as a strategic asset. Then, in that particular section, in that area, you need to address innovation, knowledge management, and collaborative practices to reflect on organizational learning. Then you finally have to finish with reflection on your feedback, which I will be providing you on your first assignment, which was the presentation. So once you have the feedback from the presentation, that's what you need to have a reflection on that feedback and then conclude to demonstrate synthesis of learning. So these are a few points which you need to remember as structure of your assignment logically. So these points you need to remember when you are completing your assessment. Then moving on to the next thing is the use frameworks to guide your analysis. So remember, I keep saying this to you guys during your first assessment for the presentation that all of you are required to actually integrate some sort of models into your work that represents your better analysis and critical research as well. So, for example, in this case, this particular sample is talking about the SWOT analysis, PASTEL, Porter Five Forces, and Rogers Value Proposition model. So these models have got different identities. For instance, SWOT model helps identifying internal external factors, whereas PASTEL examines macro environmental to they got different circumstances. So obviously, on the basis of that, you are required to pick and choose the different technological model. So then you have to apply these frameworks critically. Don't just list information. Explain why it matters for the company's digital transformation. Then you have on number five, you have integrate examples and evidences. So use real life examples such as CC's autopilot feature or Powerwall energy solutions to illustrate your points. Compare the company with industry peers like BMW or Audi to show deeper understanding and context. I have mentioned these names in here just for the clarity purposes that if you're talking about the auto industry, then you probably have to research through the competitors. For example, in this case, would be BMW or Audi, and it could be Tesla, it could be other organizations as well. Then finally, you have to have a reflection and conclusion, which is the good assignments to reflect on what you have learned and provide the insights. The conclusion should summarize key findings and then share understanding of digital transformation and highlight strategic recommendations or implications. Okay, then obviously you all know that the presentation and references is the key point in here for professional assignments. So finally, make sure your work is well organized, clearly written, and visually structured. So use headings, subheadings, and figures where necessary. Always include a comprehensive reference list and ensure academic integrity. So when I summarize this, you're required to remember these key points. For example, think of this assignment as a way to demonstrate critical thinking, research skills, along with the innovation skills as well. This sample shows how a profession effectively. So your version should be original, reflect your analysis, and show your understanding of the topic. So I think that I have explained these 7 to 8 points, just ensuring that what sort of things you need to look into your assignment. But remember, you have chosen a different organization, you have chosen a different industry. So on the basis of the industry, your competitors will be changed. The models you're going to use are going to be different as well, and how you're going to collect the data. This is up to the organization as well as your research skills as well. So these are a few guidelines which you need to remember, and then the how you're going to structure your assignment. There is a bit of a sample in here. For instance, the first thing you need to remember is the cover sheet. Once you have got the cover sheet in here, then you have got the table of contents. In this table of contents, you're going to talk about, for instance, introduction, interface between business management and digital technologies, and then you have industry analysis and case studies, digital transformational strategy. This is what the existing strategy as well as how it is going to have an impact in the future. Business process transformation, innovation and knowledge management, reflection on feedback, conclusion, references, and appendix. Right. So this is just the table of contents, and this is how the professional you should be completing your assessment as well. Then you have table of figure in which you're going to talk about how many pictures you have used, and those pictures on which page they are on. So that is representing a good professional way of actually listing the figures you have used in here. But remember, any figure you use, you need to put up your reference citations as well in there. Okay. And then you have this is your introduction about things. For instance, I'm just going to reduce the size so we can have more visibility of the task in here. So in introduction, you talk about the business overview. This is something you need to remember, the background, and then you have to talk about the current state analysis of the organization. Then if you're using a SWOT analysis, you probably need to use the SWOT analysis in here. Remember, if you are not using SWOT, you're using different models. Obviously, the pictorial representation is amazing. That brings like life to your work. Then you have interface between business management and digital technologies, in which you're going to talk about impact analysis. And then you have pastel analysis. Again, this pictorial representation should be adding a life to your work. And then you have a pastel analysis. At the bottom, it mentions about the figure 2, but the reference citation is missing in here, which you need to make sure that when you are working on your assignment, if you're using any particular model, you're using the references and citations as well. Then you have the strategy linkage, and then you talk about the Roger model as well in here, value proposition model. Again, this figure is mentioned in here, but the reference citations are missing. So you need to add those ones there. Then you have industry analysis and case studies. Remember, it is about learning about the environment itself. Then you have what is the industry structure. Potter Five Forces is going to help you understand the market, the competition, the rivalries, and then in this particular case, the student has done in this sample different studies. For example, the first case study is about analysis, and then the student has done the case study two with the SWOT analysis. So this student has used two different case studies, two different frameworks in here at this stage to understand the micro and macro environment first. And then again, this pictorial information is amazing because that brings life to your work. Then you have industry conversions where you use your Potter Five Forces. And obviously, this is all explanation of your organization as per this model. Then you have digital transformation. In terms of that, you talk about the technological solutions. Then again, you talk about the battery technology, Potter Five Forces. Again, the pictorial information is very important, but the reference and citations are missing in here. Then, because the modern age, we're talking about AI driven manufacturing, we talk about strategic capability views, enhanced autopilot features, and soft metrics as well. So again, this is the more integration of different kind of areas where you can add a value to your work. Then you have customer network. I remember that we have been speaking about the customer network, network effects, and all these kind of things. So how these organizations build and leverage customer networks as a critical component of digital transformation strategy. So you talk about the digital platforms, you talk about brand ambassadors in here. Then you have new business models, which is you talk about digital things, CC to explore new business model. What do you think according to the current situation, how they can progress further? Then obviously this is more about an explanation to the revenue generation of the organization. Again, the citations and references missing in here that where have this picture taken from? And if we want to clarify this, then how can we actually see this in particular? Then you have software subscriptions, ride hailing. Again, if somebody has taken and selected the food retail companies, obviously their explanations would be different instead of the software subscriptions in here. But if you have taken a technological organization, you probably have to think about this as well. Okay, then you have data as an asset in which you have to talk about different types of for instance, this is more about the vehicles. So it is about vehicle telemetry, Porter and Happelmann's creating new value with data, how these things are actually helping the businesses to explore in terms of technology, where we have customer insights, Rogers 4 state of validation, predictive maintenance, etc. So this is just a sample. You don't have to have copy and paste of all this stuff, but remember, this is all about how a professional assignment should look like. So obviously, according to your assignment, your topic, your industry, you will have different headings and subheadings. Then we have the social media impact, where you talk about lots of things in here. And then you keep moving on to sales, marketing, business process transformation. Then you talk about the business model canvas of, for instance, this person has used example of Tesla in here. Then you talk about the innovation and knowledge management. And then you have collaborative working, and then you have information technologies, and keep going. And then you have the reflection on feedback. Remember the reflection on feedback. Until I give you the full feedback about your first assignment, you won't be able to add one in here. But that is the last component of this assessment. Initially, what you need to think about this is that how you're going to structure your assignment, and for the second assignment, and once you get to that stage for reflection and feedback, I hope that you will be able to see your first assignment feedback as well. So in terms of that one, this is further is done as the customer feedback, stakeholder feedback, employee feedback. So this is more about when you will be given your first assignment, which is a presentation, then you can actually chunk that into smaller sections and put down in here as a reflection. Then you have to incorporate a feedback, the how you have integrated that feedback into your current assignment, ensuring that your feedback is leveraged. And then finally you have a conclusion, and then in conclusion you're going to talk about that what was the purpose of this assignment, what technologies have you used, what models have you used, and how you have transformed an organization into a digital transformation, providing a comprehensive analysis of the current state of the business. And then obviously you have final references. And then once you get to the stage, your assignment should be completed. Remember that you're not increasing or going the word limit. Whatever is the word limit is here, it's just going to be plus minus 10%. What I would expect from all of you is to start working on this assignment because we got 4 weeks left to submit this. In the meanwhile, I'm more than happy to provide you formative feedback, which we will set up a date during the class. And by that date, I would expect everyone to send me the work so I can review it and give you feedback before you finally submit it. I hope this explanation is making sense to you guys and how you're going to push this assignment. Then you have, remember guys, just wanted to re-highlight the table of contents, table of figures, the presentation itself. It should be in a very professional and logical manner. So these are a few things which you need to remember when you do your assignment. So I would like you to keep the record of that. Thank you very much for being with me. I hope this video is quite helpful. But again, if you get any questions, please feel free and come to me during the seminar session. And I'm more than happy to answer these questions. Thank you very much and have a lovely day ahead.